I'm Fredrik Leilani, and I'm the filmmaker.
And I'm Leilani Farha, and I'm the advocate.
Hello, advocates. This is Pushback Talk, and this is our, the way of us keeping alive, putting words to each other, and we call it word food. Let's play with words, Leilani. Are you ready for a new word coming from me?
I'm never ready, but here I am.
You're not ready? This is something we need to talk about. Activist burnout.
Oh, yeah. Activist burnout. I've never had that, to be honest. Strangely. Why is that? I have something else that's related, which is a deep questioning of what should activism look like at this geopolitical moment. As a human rights lawyer, obviously, human rights are lacking legitimacy, maybe. No one's paying attention to them.
Oh, we do. We pay attention. But it's obviously not enough, and the people in power don't.
The people in power don't. That's who I meant.
Because I
people
think
on
the language
ground do. Yeah.
Now I want to confront you straight on. I think the language of human rights and of international human rights law is winning terrain. More and more people are using it,
I think that's probably right. And I think people are on the ground, everyday people are paying attention to it and learning about it in new ways. Like you hear, so especially because of Gaza, you hear a lot of people, especially young people who really know the law. True. But states really have very little regard, do not want to be held accountable, will not hold each other accountable. There's a coven, as we say, like a club of impunity.
And of course now with the coalition of Putin, Trump, and the Chinese, it's very much international law is not that interesting to them. They want to just decide between them. Yeah,
and it allows smaller players off the hook too. So many, many, many years ago, Canada did play a more constructive role around human rights many years ago, like in the 80s, maybe, the 70s. And that now without, there's no space for that. Not that Canada would play that role now because our politics have changed and we are amongst those who don't want to hold ourselves or anyone else accountable.
But I want to go over to the...
we were talking about activist burnout.
Yeah, because you know what, Leilani, when I did my last film, Breaking Social, I met a lot of activists because that film is also about activism. And they gave me that term, I've been suffering from an activist burnout. Well, then they said that the film gave them energy back. But how do we help each other not to fall into that feeling of burnout? It's of course also that many of the organizations of the of the left, or whatever we can call it, the resistant human rights resistance, it's like sometimes poorly organized, and it's people work too much and too long meetings and too long whatever, so people get tired. It's sometimes easier for the more authoritarian traditions, which also the left had its, the communist parties and so on, really where everything was decided from up and down, which you have with the wealthy people. They decide, and then the rest, and then they, they pay for people to send out their messages. But then the resistance is like more chaotic and more diverse, and the structures make people also tired. I can see that.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was appointed special rapporteur, another rapporteur said to me, a woman, she was a little younger than me, and she had been the rapporteur on the right to water. Her name is Katerina de Albuquerque, and very sadly, she died recently of cancer, resurgence of cancer. But she said to me, she was a very effective special rapporteur, and she said to me, "You will not survive this job if you do not laugh and have fun." And I really took that to heart. And I did have fun as UNSR, and you'll know because we traveled together to many places and we laughed a lot and we had a good time and we worked extremely hard.
But you also cried a lot.
Of course. Yeah. You've got to let the emotions out. That's a life lesson in life, not just activism.
I think that was also, I could see that as one of your strengths, was that you could also cry when you got overwhelmed by the conditions people were living in and so on. And the anger of meeting ignorant people in power and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I run an organization, and I wonder if activist burnout is something that my team feels. I don't think so. I mean, we took some, important measures. We went to a 4-day work week. Not all of us stick to that, but nevertheless, it's there if for the taking. And we do try to have fun, and we have meetings every week where we don't just talk about work, and we talk about our lives and exchange, personal things. If you want to, there's of course no pressure. So I do wonder if things like that are helpful. I also wonder if I'm just not that activist, and that's why I don't burn out.
You are a freaking activist, my friend. And I'm happy that you're not burnt out, because we need you.
I suppose with the situation in Gaza, I was getting quite burnt out. Burnt out isn't the right word. And one feels a responsibility to people who are suffering far more than me sitting here in Ottawa in my comfortable home, warm when it should be and cool when it should be, no war at my doorstep, no genocide, So while I definitely was and continue to wear Gaza, and I've had to limit some social media access to preserve myself, I do feel like, oh, wait a second, activist burnout, I don't have time for that. And it serves no Palestinian well if I have activist burnout. So, or any person living in homelessness or housing precarity or whatever I'm working on. So, yeah, there it is.
Good. We need to support each other and make our friends smile also in between. Important.
Exactly.
Over to you.
Okay. I have a kind of quiet word for you. Let's see what you do with it.
Some sweetness.
I don't know if it's sweet, but the word is patience.
Oh, patience, patience, acceptance.
Do you do yoga?
No, this is like a joke between me and the cinematographer I work with, Janis Davila from Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
When we get a really horrible seat on a plane, or or a delay, or just stuck in an airport, or the situation is stressful and we can't, there is no time to sleep or eat or whatever. But then we have this acceptance.
Yeah,
it's kind of good, to accept. Okay, I'm stuck here. I can't do a shit. Instead of running around and being angry, you can just sit down and say, okay. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm not going to get angry, because if I do, I will lose even more energy. So,
yes, but
patience,
reconciliation.
Patience. I'm born restless.
Yes, I know that.
You know that. You know that.
I do.
I'm born restless, and that can be a very destructive thing to be. So I think the battle over my life has been to try to convert being restless into something productive, to direct the energy into do stuff.
Right.
And I think that's been a part of my, I wouldn't call it success, but it's been a way of handling those energies. And I'm still restless. I need to go out and walk, I need to do something. And sometimes I just sit and scroll on my phone, instead of watching a film or reading a book. I have the lack of patience, maybe. But I'm also think that I'm better in it now. Also because, the process of making documentaries, it's such a long journey, every film. And it's not only to create the idea and to make go to places and talk to people and film and shoot. It's also the process of funding, which is like much more stressful. And as you know, the conditions for documentary filmmakers and a lot of people of the arts these days is really, really tough. Tougher than I can remember. So it means also that the people who sit on the little money, which is normally quite not nice people, they are just pushing us forward. Yeah, well, later, or they're not answering emails. So the time just flies by. It stresses me and it makes me depressed. In some way, I need to accept it, and then I need patience, And then I need to, okay, I have the experience of getting there, to finish my work.
Right.
But it's not really in the pace I would like to do it. If I had more money, I could move much quicker. It's very, very frustrating. And to see like life fly by in some way, because my work depends on their decisions. And it's, I mean, in our case, it's the national film bodies, or the regional funds, or mainly the broadcasters. Don't even mention the streamers, because they are just leaving us behind. You can see now when Netflix is buying HBO and Warner, it's like it will be crazy. It will be even worse for a lot of people.
Absolutely. I wondered about that, actually.
Yeah. Now we will need you much more. We will need an active audience who seeks out our films and organize special screenings of our films. We need more an active relation to an audience who cares about our craft, the genre of documentaries. So that's a shout out to all of you out there. Like set up, bring people together, book a film, and create a conversation. Because even if we then just charge 200, 300, 400 euros, I don't know, if we can do that in a bigger scale, it helps us a lot.
Yeah.
Because all the other money is going down. Yeah, sorry.
I think there's been a rise in, at least as someone on the outside of the documentary world, I feel like the past couple of years, there's been a rise of the documentary, in that certainly, I follow obviously Palestine and what's happening in Gaza very closely. And people have been really relying on documentary films to understand more about that situation and the plight of the Palestinians, et cetera. And Palestinian filmmakers and joint ventures have really, it seems like, come forward. And it seems there's a great appetite for good documentaries, and there's many good documentaries out there.
I think that what documentaries do is that we dive deep into something,
Yeah.
And something that people didn't even know they were interested in. And suddenly there is a film and it creates a conversation, and you go out and say, oh shit, I didn't read that in a newspaper. This is it's more in-depth information that we need, because the news is so, I mean, we now know the techniques of Trump, and his lookalikes, is to control the stream of news. So I mean, whenever Trump meets somebody, he has a press conference rolling for hours,
Yeah.
And it's all about him dominating the news. And what we do with documentaries is that we tell different stories.
Exactly.
And I think people want and need those stories.
Real content, yeah. On the issue of patience.
Oh, we were talking about patience.
We were talking about patience.
I got impatient.
One thing I will say,
patience,
and I don't know, this must be true in your world of creating documentary films, but as I'm writing this book, I do find I have to be more patient with myself than in my activism. Activism for me is a kind of, it's like second nature, or, it's like my way of being. Writing is different. It's new to me to write a book. And I noticed that it takes some time for an idea to really be born, or to really take on enough life to warrant several pages in the book. And so walking in the woods with my dog and just sitting with things and being patient with myself that the idea will come, or the way to express the idea will come. This is new for me. I think I'm normally pretty quick in my daily work. So patience.
Patience.
Tolerance with myself.
Patience. Wow, we are patient people.
There we go.
Thank you, Leilani, and see you soon. And to friends, if you want to support the podcast, send us some money on Patreon. It's not bad. patreon.com/Pushback Talks. See you.
See you.
Pushback Talks is produced by WG Film. To support the podcast, become a patron by going to patreon.com/Pushback Talks. Follow us on social media at make_the_shift and push_the_film. Or check out our websites, maketheshift.org, pushthefilm.com, or breakingsocialfilm.com.